It is still winter, it is still cold out, and I am still eating my winter vegetables. So I want to share with you a recipe today that I love to eat in the winter. And I love it because it gives me the opportunity to eat raw food in the winter. I'm a big fan of honoring what my body wants. Like, I feel like when it's really cold and there's a huge snowstorm and I just want to curl up, that I want warming foods. Like, I want soups, I want stews. Last night I had a lasagna. That is great, but at the same time I crave that freshness, that crunch that comes from eating a fresh raw vegetable. So I love this salad because it's using all the raw vegetables. I also love it because you can make it ahead. So you can make it on Sunday, let's say, if you want to batch your cooking, you can make it on Sunday and then you can have it in your fridge all week long, which is one of the things that I love to do. I've already made it a ton of times this winter, so I thought I would share it with you today. Hey, Nadia here, and today I am going to share with you one of my favorite winter salads, and it uses some vegetables that are available in the winter. So they're winter vegetables. You can find them from like a 4-season grower if you have any farms or farm stands or farmers markets around you that operate year round. And the farm or the farmer is selling food that they grew. Sometimes you see farmers sell things that they didn't grow, so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about plants that they grew in their own garden in the winter. And I love to support farmers. I feel like we sometimes disconnect ourselves from that side of things, so I always love to support my local farmer. And I love to grow my own food, so I have a garden as well, and I can grow year-round out of my garden, even in a cold climate. So I live in Canada, you can grow year-round, and you can get your vegetables that way as well. So I am specifically talking about those kinds of vegetables. When I say winter vegetables, I mean vegetables that you can find locally grown to you, whether it be from a farm or from your own garden, and a really awesome recipe to make with it. So this one features 2 ingredients. One of them is red cabbage, and I don't think I've made a recipe with red cabbage lately. And the other is carrots, and I definitely use carrots a lot in my recipes. Carrots are awesome in the winter because, number one, you can actually keep them in the ground. So they can grow, and as long as you have some sort of a cover for them, and it doesn't get freezing cold. There's different zones, of course, that allow you to do this, but if you have some sort of cover like a cold frame or a greenhouse, of course, or a hoop house, you can be growing some of these vegetables all year long, even if you have snow. So carrots are a really nice one. They're also way tastier in the winter, and I've actually even heard some farmers market them like that because you don't actually know how delicious carrots can taste until you've actually picked them and eaten them in the really cold months of the year. It's a different taste of carrot. So really cool if you can get your hands on that. If you can't, that's fine. These are actually just from the store because I couldn't get my hands on any carrots like that, but I know that they're out there. And then red cabbage. So red cabbage is the other ingredient that I'm gonna use in this salad. And this is an awesome one. They're both really good for health-wise. So they both have antioxidants in them. And what I love about red cabbage is it's got that really strong, purple cabbage, red cabbage, it's got that really strong purple pigment in it, and that gives you antioxidants that help your immune system. So how nice is it to be able to have a recipe that you know you can feel good about eating because it's got raw vegetables, it's gonna be good for you, just the sheer nature that you're eating vegetables, but also knowing that it has antioxidants in it. Both of them offer different types of antioxidants. And purple cabbage in particular has a whole host of benefits. I'm going to link down to a couple articles in the blog post that talk more about the health benefits of eating purple cabbage. It is so good for you, and it's one of those ones that I don't necessarily always have ideas for. So when I came across this recipe and I was kind of just experimenting with different types of things that I had in the fridge, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is so good. And wow, it's a really good way to use up a lot of red cabbage. And not only that, I can batch cook it. So I can make it on Sunday and then I can eat it all week long. So maybe I'll have it for lunch on Monday and then again on Wednesday or Thursday. So I love to be able to do that with food, and this recipe is going to be perfect for that. All right, here are the ingredients that you're gonna need for this recipe. You're gonna want half of a smaller red cabbage, it's about 150 grams. You want 2 large carrots, half of a lemon, and then you're gonna want some dill. So you can either, if you have fresh dill, that's great. Otherwise, frozen dill or dried dill both work wonderful in this recipe. You want some veganese or mayonnaise or whatever your favorite type of mayo is. I'm using honey. If you're vegan, you can definitely sub in any other type of sweetener. You could use coconut sugar, would be really nice in here as well. A little bit of onion, salt, and pepper. All right, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is chop up your purple or red cabbage. We need to get it into small, bite-sized pieces. And then you're gonna wanna peel your carrots and then shred them. You can also use a food processor for this if you're making a really big batch, or if you're making a lot of things and you wanna pull out your food processor. It will definitely go faster if you can just put them in there. And to make your sauce, we're gonna put in some veganese, lemon, a little bit of honey, or whatever your favorite sweetener is. And actually you can skip the sweetener altogether if you want. I'm using dried dill. If you have fresh dill or frozen dill, it would be even better. Salt, pepper, and then stir it all together. And then we just want 1/4 of an onion, just a really small amount of onion, not a ton, and chop it up really finely. And add it to the bowl with the other vegetables. And now all you want to do is mix the sauce with the vegetables. Now, of course, you could have also made the sauce in the bottom of the dish. I could have started making the sauce in this bowl and then just put the vegetables on top. In hindsight, that probably would have been smarter. But anyway, you can do whichever you'd like, 2 bowls or 1 bowl. This actually can definitely be a 1 bowl dish, which is very cool. So now once it's all mixed together, I'm just gonna put it in a container and store it in the fridge for at least an hour before I eat it, because, you know, anytime you're making anything that's got dressing on it, it takes a little bit of time for those flavors to infuse. The beauty of this recipe is that it's a make-ahead dish. I make this recipe on a Sunday afternoon and I eat it through the week. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put it in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge, and then it will be ready for me to eat tomorrow. So for this recipe, you can easily scale it up or down. You can make it bigger or smaller, totally easy depending on your needs. Just change the proportions, the quantity. I actually started making this about half the size that I made it now, and I was just trying out to see if it would work. If you want this recipe, I do have a free recipe book that I offer. It has every single recipe I've ever shared on social. You can get a link to that down below. Or if you just want the ingredients without all the steps, then you can head on over to my blog post and I'll have it in there. And that's it for this one. I hope that you try this recipe. Let me know if you make it. Let me know how it goes for you. And I'd love to hear about it. Tag me over on Instagram or on Pinterest. And that's it for this week. I will see you in the next one.